In the last 3 trading days, stock ticker symbol DATS has had 2 days in which it did up over 300% and up over 120%. If your goal is to grow a small trading account quickly, then you want to be able to capture these types of moves. However, if you've ever tried to trade these types of parabolic moves before, you will understand that with great volatility comes not only great opportunity to make money, but also to lose money. If only there were an indicator within ThinkorSwim that could help us maximize the upside potential while limiting our downside risk. I build custom studies in ThinkorSwim. It's what I do. It's what this channel is all about. And in today's video, we are going to be covering my custom built dot plot study and how it can help you trade these types of insanely volatile moves. And later in the video, we will build a custom scanner step by step so that you can find these types of moves. Because it doesn't matter if you have the best trading strategy in the world for parabolic stocks. If you can't find them, you can't make money. The purpose of the dot plot indicator is to help measure the direction, strength, and momentum of a ticker, but to do it very simply. This is a very common chart setup that you will see, maybe outside of having the custom strategies and studies turned on, but the MACD, the stochastic, and the RSI. These are the most common trading indicators, once again, to help measure that momentum, direction, and strength of a ticker. Well, what my dot plot indicator is doing is it is pulling that same data of the MACD, of the stochastic, and of the RSI. That is what these 3 horizontal lines below the top level are representing. Obviously now, outside of just showing you the value and showing you the full analysis of that indicator, making it very difficult to read, especially for beginner traders, what my dot plot indicator does is it breaks those values down. And if green dot, the value is bullish. If red dot, obviously, the value is bearish. Then what this top line is doing, if you may notice this top line is slightly thicker than the bottom 3 lines, this is my consensus line. This is simply taking the underlying values, and if they are green, you get green up top. If they are red, you get red up top. If they're mixed, you get no dots. That's so you can quickly look at this top dot even without needing to look at any of the others and get a sense of bullishness versus bearishness on the stock ticker you're charting. Now that you have an idea of what the dot plot indicator is doing, before we hop into how it can help you trade, I just want to let you know it, along with over 80 plus other custom ThinkorSwim coded studies, strategies, scanners, etc., are all available for easy import over on my website, daytradingstrategies.net. The website will be linked in the description down below. Go click on it, click on our codes, check out the price, read the reviews, see if it's something that might help your trading career. So how can this indicator help us trade parabolic stocks? The number one issue with parabolic stocks is not necessarily the timing of the entrance. The timing of the entrance is very easy. I mean, look, the stock is parabolic. If you buy it, you're probably going to do all right. But the number one issue is the timing of the exit. Beginner traders get into these parabolic stocks and they hold on to them for way too long and end up getting crushed on the quick backside that always inevitably comes with quick upside. So if we look at DATS, this is the day that it did 300%. And of course, a little bit of revisionist history here. This is the day it went straight up forever, all day. You really could have just bought it at any point in the day and held it all day and done really well. But that's very atypical, and that's not necessarily the strategy that you should have when buying typical front side moves like this. I'll show you why you should be weary of just holding all day in just a second. But first, let's take a look at some examples of how the dot plot could have helped you here. So DATS opens. Out of the open, it's sort of chopping around. I mean, it does go up 20%, but A lot of stocks are up 20% on the day. You're probably not paying a lot of attention, whatever. It's not really parabolic yet. All of a sudden, you're a few hours into the day and this stock is up 40+%. Maybe now you're really starting to pay attention to this thing for a parabolic move. Once again, we'll build a scanner to find these kind of moves later in the video, so stick around. But, okay, hey, this thing is now up 40% at lunchtime. It's done 40% in the morning. Maybe let's start to pay attention to this thing. So you do so, and you're seeing a pullback here, and you notice on the pullback how you're getting no dot at the top. That's because the results below are mixed. You have a red dot, you have 2 green dots, so our consensus dot is nothing. Then you get a red, meaning bearish, then you get another nothing. Okay, so we have some consolidation going on here. Once you get that first green dot at the top on your consensus, that means all the dots are green, we can start to think about an entrance. You enter this thing here around 349, you ride until you get your first red candle, which is here at 375. You locked in 7% gains. Pretty good, right? All of a sudden, bang, this thing is still strong. I mean, once again, revisionist history. We're looking back at a stock that we know has been ridiculously strong all day, but I'll show you some other examples. But anyway, this thing, bang, hops right back to green again. Okay, screw it. Let's get right back in this thing. It still wants to try to prove strength. So you're in again around 390 and you don't get your first red dot until over $5.10. You locked in 30% of profit. Are you starting to see how the dot plot is really, really helpful for helping traders decide when it's the right time to get out of a parabolic trade? What ends up happening with beginner traders trading parabolic moves is they'll get in right here, and then they'll immediately get a 8-9% pop on the next candle, and they'll sell. They'll lock in profits. How often do you hear you can't go broke taking a profit? Well, that's just not true, because guess what? Even using this dot plot and trading parabolic stocks, you're going to take losses. This dot plot is not going to make you some sort of 100% win rate trader. I hate to tell you. The goal, when you start to trade these parabolic stocks, the goal is to maximize the profit on your winners so that they offset your losers. When you get into a big move like this, you need to be able to capture 30+% rather than 8%, if that makes sense. Because once again, there's going to be losses. You need to make enough money to offset that. Anyway, on the back end of this sell, you can watch the dots down here. Red, no dot, red, no dot, red, red. This is kind of bearish, kind of choppy, whatever. Boom. All of a sudden, we're all green again. We can get back in. You don't get your first red dot until after another 37% move. You've just captured like over what? What is that? Like over 75% or something in this trade today, utilizing these dots as your guidance for when's the right time to get out of a bullish trade on a parabolic name. Stock ticker XHG. This is a stock that just a couple of days ago out of open went up over 175% in just a few hours. So once again, I mean, this stock is on my Gapper scanner. It's getting a move in pre-market. You keep an eye on it out of market open. You see, hey, holy crap, in the first 30 minutes of market open, this thing just went up 87%. This is definitely on our radar now for a parabolic stock. It'll be popping up on the scanner we're about to build. Anyway, you then come over and you start to watch your dot plot for that first pullback. You don't want to be chasing kind of these green dots, these later green dots, right? You only want to be getting in on the first green dot, else you've likely missed the move, and just wait. Don't chase at that point, just wait. There will be a pullback, it will happen, it always does. This thing pulls back, this thing actually pulls back really hard. But, okay, we got our first red candle. Nice, let's start to now look. Red candle, then you get no dot, a little bit of consolidation going on here. Then you get your first green dot here at about 155. Thing goes on an insane run, unfortunately gets a really hard pullback, but you get your first red dot here at 222. You've locked in over 42% in profit. And look at, on a move like this, and this is much more typical of a parabolic move. That DATS chart we looked at first, that thing just went up all day. There's probably people watching this video like, well, Trey, you could have just bought that at any point in the day and made money. And you're right, but moves like this are much more typical of the parabolic stock. The really fast up, really fast down. And look at how the dots here help you with the timing of the entrance and exit. You get your first green dot at a really nice price. So you're not sort of chasing up here too high. Then you get your first red dot at a really nice price. This pullback is still kind of rough, yes, but getting out at 222 and locking in over, what was it, 40% of profit? If I remember correctly, yeah, 42% of profit is much better than, say you chased it up here and then you end up holding until all the way down here and losing 40%, which is what ends up unfortunately happening to a lot of beginner traders that don't have the right sort of guidance provided by a study like this. Now let's go ahead and hop into building the scanner to find these types of parabolic moves. The first place I want to start is actually outside of our ThinkorSwim application. This is Finviz, finviz.com. It's just a free website, as you can probably tell from all the ads popped up. I don't even have a premium account. I'm not even logged in to my account right now. This is a fully free website, and we are looking at XHG. Excuse me. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come down and I'm going to take a look at this shares float number. What float represents is the number of shares available to be traded on a ticker. And the lower this number is, the easier it's going to be for a stock to be parabolic, to be extremely volatile, because of the laws of supply and demand, right? If there is lower supply, it's going to take less demand to move the price of that item. Well, in our case here, the float is the supply of the stock and the volume traded on that stock is the demand. So if the float is low, it takes less volume to move said stock. And this stock only has a float of 220,000, which is very, very low. If I go over and look at DATS, this was the first stock we looked at with our dot plot example, has a float of only 2.73 million. Once again, very, very low. Let me go to a stock that everybody knows just for comparison's sake here. This is Apple, obviously a huge name, has a float of 15 billion. If that gives you any idea of how low float those other two parabolic names were. The point of me showing you that on Finviz is so that now when we hop back over into our ThinkorSwim application, under our scan tab, the first filter we're going to add is a stock filter, and it's going to be shares. Unfortunately, ThinkorSwim doesn't provide you with the float data of a ticker. Remember, the float being the number of available shares open for trading right now. But it does provide you with the total number of shares. And this can still be useful for identifying stocks with low supply. I typically look for stocks with under 30 mil float as low float stocks. So what I do when using shares, since this is all outstanding shares rather than just what's available for trading, that includes, shares locked up by insiders, by institutions, etc., etc. I just simply raise that bar for what I consider low supply. So instead of 30 million, I'm going to go with 50 million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now I will only see stocks that have 50 million or less outstanding shares. The top two results of this scanner as of now are AKYA and OPFI. If I hop back in to our Finviz and I look up these stocks, AKYA, you will see has a float of 20 million stocks. That is a pretty low float, and you can see there the shares outstanding, which is what we're filtering on in our ThinkorSwim scanner, is obviously less than 50 million. And this stock actually just went from $2.60 to up over $3.50. That's the kind of volatility we're looking for, right? Next, OPFI. This has a float of sub 20 million, shares outstanding of just over 20 million. So once again, the shares outstanding is always going to be a little bit higher. That's why we raise that number from 30 million to 50 million in our scanner. And once again, this is another really volatile stock. Actually, just over the last few months has gone from $5 to up over $9. Once again, the kind of volatility we are looking for. So once again, based off the laws of supply and demand, we have now limited our scan results to stocks with a low supply. So now our job is to also find stocks that are having a high demand against that supply. If I look at my volume column here, there's a stock here, XYLO, that only traded 5,700 shares on the day. If we go look at that ticker, what was it, XYLO? Yeah, this is not going to be the types of stocks that we want to be trading, right? We don't want to get stuck in these low liquidity traps, awful bid-ask spreads. You just always want to avoid low volume tickers. And not to mention, low volume tickers are less likely to be parabolic because, once again, of the laws of supply and demand. So let's add another stock filter. This one really easy. Volume, and I only want to see stocks that have traded a minimum of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, a million shares of volume on the day. So stocks that have less than 50 million shares available, stocks that have less than 50 million shares outstanding and have traded at least a million shares on the day. You'll notice actually our results just went from 4,300 stocks all the way down to 188. We should now be looking at 188 stocks that have the chance, I'm not saying they all will, of course, but have a good chance of going parabolic. And there's ways that we can sort this down even further to increase that chance of going parabolic. Now, I'm almost exclusively a bullish trader, and I would imagine most of you are too, and especially when it comes to these low float stocks, because these low float stocks have obviously less shares available to borrow, so the locate fees are typically through the roof. And remember, these are the stocks that are more likely to go parabolic, so they're also the ones you really don't want to get stuck holding a short position in. And on our scan results currently, I have a stock here, QTRX, that is down 20% on the day. QTRX. And yes, guess what? This is the kind of volatility we're looking for. This is actually great for our supply and demand basis. Hey, we found a really volatile stock. The issue is this one is proving its volatility in the wrong direction. So we're going to add another filter to our scanner just to only see bullish moves on the day. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add another filter. This time, rather than stock, I'm going to add a study filter. I'm going to come into the pencil of this filter, and I'm going to hop into the ThinkScript editor. We're going to write out a very simple line of code. Don't worry, it's very simple, but current bar closing price is greater than the opening price, and I'm going to set the period parameter inside of my open function to the constant aggregation period dot day. The current bar is greater than the opening bar of the day. And I know it seems weird that we're going to run this against the daily time aggregation because you're like, well, Trey, you're looking at the close of the day. But in ThinkorSwim, the current price of the stock is also referenced to as the close if the stock is open. So this will work correctly, even though I get it seems a little weird. Anyway, I'll show you what I mean. If we go ahead and add that study filter and now I hit scan, we go from 188 stocks down to 79 stocks, and we should only be seeing ones that are green on the day. I actually have a stock here down 1.3%. Let me see what that's all about. AVNS. That is because it's... Sorry, I had to cut for a second because actually I didn't know why it was. But the stock is down 1.3% because it's down 1.3% from yesterday's close. But it's still green from today's open. Today's open was down here at 1512. It closed at 1520. So the stock is still green on the day, just red from yesterday's close, which is what this percent change column is measuring. Now, there are a couple of different ways you can go about sorting the results of this scan. And sorting scan results is very important because, yes, we have decided the types of stocks we want to see. Now we need to see the ones with the highest chance of being parabolic at the top of our scan results, right? One, you could go with percent change. Right now, WKEY had the largest percent change. As I type that in, you can see, yes, this thing had a very strong day. If I come back over another stock, HCWC, yes, had a very strong day and also a very strong close. The issue with sorting stocks this way is that it doesn't necessarily lead to them being parabolic right now. It just means they've had very strong overall days, right? Which is not a bad thing and maybe still something you want to keep an eye on, but it's not perfect for the types of trade setups we're going for. Another way you could decide to sort this scan column is by volume. And this one makes sense, right? Hey, we're looking at low supply stocks, so sort them by which of these low supply are getting the most demand. The first stock on this list is DATS, which had a very big move. Obviously, this is the first stock we covered on the dot plot in today's video. But you'll notice right away the issue with using this default volume column to sort for stocks that are currently likely to be parabolic. DATS traded a ton of volume today, yes, but it traded almost all of it during the morning hours. Right now, as in when you would be looking at your scan results, it's really not traded a lot of volume, nor had a lot of likelihood to go parabolic into close. It's just at the top of this scan sort because of all the volume it traded earlier. What we're going to do to efficiently sort our scan results list to find stocks that are most likely to be setting up to go parabolic right now is we're going to create a custom scan results column. To do this, click on the little cog to the far right of your scan result headers. Then in your lookup column, type in custom. You'll see like custom 1 through 19. You can click on the scroll icon next to any of those, which will pop up this modal, and we will hop into the ThinkScript editor. What I'm going to be looking for current parabolic setups is volume. But rather than volume on the day, I want to look at volume over the last 5 minutes. So the volume on the current 5-minute candle. What is currently getting volume, once again, rather than our default volume column, which looks at the volume of all day, and we already talked about why that doesn't work great. I'm also going to turn off to include extended hours, and if I go ahead and run this, and don't leave yet, because there's still a big extra step we're going to make in this custom scan column, but if I run this now, I can begin to show you what I'm talking about. So I have this sorted top down, and this is going to be a little bit weird because I'm making this video when the markets are closed, so you're kind of going to be seeing the last volume candle of the day, which is a little wonky, and oftentimes you get a lot of at close orders. So this isn't going to be like great live examples, but I promise you, like, just look back at these charts too. I promise you, using a custom scan column like this is going to really help. And a beauty of scan columns is this information is live updating. Even though ThinkorSwim scan results aren't live updating, new stocks will only appear on this scanner every 3 to 5 minutes. This information is in fact live updating though. So if something is spiking in volume, it'll jump right to the top of your list immediately. So you'll really never miss any of these moves. Whenever, look at WKEY here, once again, sort of got heavy volume into close, yeah, whatever, but it also would have jumped towards the top of your scan results back here at 240 when it began to make this pop on this volume. You see the usefulness there? However, one issue with the current state of this scan column, and you're actually seeing it here on WKEY. Yes, this stock had heavy volume, sure, but it was heavy sell side volume. This is a red candle. I don't care about stocks that are getting heavy sell volume. I only want to see heavy buy volume. Once again, we are looking for bullish parabolic moves. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hop back into my customize and I'm going to click on the scroll here once again next to my custom column. And I'm going to now set up my ThinkScript line of code here to only include the volume number if the current candle is green. If close is greater than open, then show me the volume data, else just show 0 so that they aren't anywhere near the top of our scan results. Now as I hit apply and OK and back out, you'll notice as they're loading in here, let me resort it. I think it needs to be resorted. There you go. You'll notice that actually most of these stocks got red candles into close. You'll see all these zeros. Those are just ones you can sort of ignore. Hey, they're getting heavy sell side volume. Who cares? We want to see what's spiking up now. First stock on the list, UMAC. This should be a green candle. It is indeed. Once again, a little weird because it's into close, but I promise you, you run this scanner, you watch the results during the next market open trading day, and you'll see the usefulness of it. I've actually already gone ahead and added the codes for both the scanner and the custom scan column to my website, daytradingstrategies.net. Click into our codes, click on the ThinkorSwim logo here behind my head. Of course, if you're looking for the scanners, you'll come in to scanners. The custom scan column will be under custom scan columns. The scanner itself is a day trading one, and alongside all these others, ours is called likely parabolic. It comes with a share link, as does every single one of my 80 plus custom codes on my website. All you do, copy this share link. Back within your ThinkorSwim, you go to setup, open shared item, paste in that link, preview, and import. And this scanner will now be available from your load scan query here. It is called DTS likely parabolic. I don't know my alphabet, but where is DTS likely parabolic? There it is. DTS likely parabolic. You click on that, you'll have this scanner set up. And it's that easy to import any of the over 80 custom ThinkorSwim codes I have published over on daytradingstrategies.net. Of course, the dot plot indicator we covered at the beginning of this video that will help you trade these parabolic stocks is available with a similar easy to import share link under the studies link here. So check out the website, daytradingstrategies.net. Click the link in the description down below. Click on our codes, check out how low the price is, read the reviews. Just decide for yourself if it's something that could help accelerate your trading. I truly believe it is. Of course, you need to decide that for yourself. But sign up, become a better trader today. So in this video, not only did we cover what my dot plot indicator is, we also covered how you can use it on these parabolic moves, and of course also how to build a scanner to find these parabolic moves so that you never miss them in the future. Hopefully you find value in all that. If you do, please take the half second, scroll down, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you would like to continue receiving these free videos in your subscription box. And with all that being said, I'll catch you all in the next one.